So, example number 5 and example number 6. So we're going to finish up the last 2 example problems from solving our equations with square roots. So we're going to follow the same steps that what we followed in our opener today. So if I'm going to follow the same steps as what we did in our opener today, Daisha, how am I going to start? Yeah, every single time. Circle my variable, draw my line of equality. Now, the new step is to do what from here? So what do I do after I circle my variable and I draw my line of equality? The square root. So what's my square root I'm going to box? Good. I'm only going to box the square root. That 3 does not go with it because that 3 is not part of the square root, which means I have to get the square root by itself. So anything that's not included in that box, I have to get rid of. So Michael, if I want to get the square root by itself, what's not a part of that box? What's not in that box?
What's not in that box?
Yeah. What do I have to get rid of to get this box, the square root by itself?
Change the minus to plus.
No. Right here. Look right here. So if I want to get this square root, this box by itself, what's not inside of this box? What's not in there on this side of the line of equality? 3. So how do I get rid of that 3? I'm going to bring it down by any time a 3 or any time a number touches a square root sign or parentheses or a variable, it means to. Yeah, which operation? Not minus. You need some help?
Plus.
Anytime a number touches a parentheses, a square root sign, or a variable, it means to multiply. The opposite of multiply is divide. There we go. So we're going to divide. I might have misheard you. I'm sorry. So we're going to divide each side by 3. So what that means on my left side now, that I got rid of the 3, I still have to bring my square root sign because I haven't gotten rid of that yet. I'm going to bring down my g minus 7 underneath it, my equal sign. Then on my right side, what's 9 divided by 3, you guys? 3. Okay. Now, is my square root by itself, Jair? Is my square root by itself?
No.
No? What do I have to get rid of then to get the square root by itself?
Minus 7.
But that minus 7 is part of my square root, right? Because it's under the square root sign. Yes? So is my square root by itself?
No. I mean, yes.
Yes. So if my square root is by itself, I'm ready to move down to step 2, which means I'm ready to get rid of that square root sign. So how do I get rid of that square root sign?
Don't you add 7?
No, I want you to look at your notes. So after I do step 1, which I just did, I got the square root by itself.
Oh, square root both sides.
Not square root both sides, but because if I square rooted both sides, I would do that. That's not what you want me to do, is it?
No.
So what's step 2 say? Read it to me.
Square root both sides of the equation.
Do you have root there? Get rid of that root.
Where?
Square both sides. You
Square
have
both.
square both sides. So
Yes,
we're going to
square
square both sides. That little 2. So the square and square root cancel. So Jair, if that square cancels with that square root sign, what do I bring down on my left side now?
G. Without the times next 7 in the square.
Minus.
Minus 7
Okay, then on my right side, what's 3 squared?
equals 9.
9. Okay, now, I'm back to a one-step equation. Jaden, how do I get the g by itself from here? Plus 7. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Jaden, what's g equal to? What's g equal to? What's g equal? 9 plus 7? And that's it. So how many steps was that one?
2,
3. Good. So we did 1, 2, 3. Nice job. A lot shorter than a 6-step equation, right? About 50% shorter. See how I threw some more math numbers at you? All right, y'all have it down?
Wait. You want to rush? You gotta slow down.
You weren't slurping that milk so loud, you'd have it down. I actually, Damon, so yesterday, because I'm lazy, it was a snow day, right? So we got pizza for dinner. And I'm in the kitchen. The kids are in the dining room eating. And all I can hear is smack. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, do I have Damon Carter in my dining room right now?
That's what you don't.
That's exactly what I thought, though. I'm like, where's Damon at? And it's Avery over there. I'm like, okay, we got to work on that. Okay. Ooh, just looking at this. How many steps is this going to be? Nope.
5, man.
4.
You're like on it.
Honest.
All right.
Dude, you look like one of those 70s dancers.
You got some moves for us? Not yet? You haven't had that breakfast?
Yeah, not gonna. Oh,
But tomorrow's Saturday.
Yeah, I'm still at home.
Okay.
I got attention.
Okay. Okay, so what did I go ahead and do here? What did I go ahead and do to set my problem up? Good. So, I circled my variable, I drew my line of equality, and I boxed the square root. Danielle, why do I box the square root? What's the purpose of putting a box around the square root? To save it for later? That's one way of saying it, meaning I want to get that by itself. The square root by itself, then the variable by itself. So if I'm going to get the square root by itself, I have to get rid of 2 other numbers. I have to get rid of the 4 and the -5. Raise your hand if you know which number I'm going to get rid of first. Daisha.
What, I mean, always call.
Well,
Wait, did you get -5?
why? How do you know that?
I know he's fit.
Well, I want you to tell me why.
I tell you.
Okay, good. So if you're following the mnemonic device, SADMAP here, Kara said the -5 stands for subtraction, so I start there.
That was me. I said that.
So I add 5. You were partially right, because you could tell me what to get rid of.
I'm gonna say all that though.
So what do I bring down on my left side now? Bless you. So tell me everything I bring down on my left side.
You bring up square root h, -12, and then that's it.
Is that it? What are we missing?
You gotta drop that 4.
Yeah, drop that 4 too. Then I bring down my equal sign, and then on my right side, what do I bring down? What do I bring down on my 16?
Dang, man, 16.
Now, what do I get rid of?
I ain't get rid of that.
4.
That 4.
How so?
Put that mother to it.
Divide.
Divide.
Bro, she talking to me.
Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So what do I bring down on my left side? Anybody?
H. I mean, square root h
Good.
-12.
And then on my right side?
On down the right side.
One answer the moment.
4, man. Yeah, there you go. If I ain't got the answer to myself, I'm like, buddy.
Okay. Is the square root by itself?
No.
Nah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's nothing else. There's no other numbers here, right? It's just the square root with things under it. So I have to get rid of the square root sign. How do I do that?
You're gonna put that little square root.
If I put that little square root, that's what that would be.
Put it to one side.
Come on, wait. She talking to me.
What's that called though?
Squares.
Square, or it's like an exponent. Because if you said to put that 2 on top, I could put a big 2 like that. That doesn't work. So you'd have to say square or the exponent 2.
Oh, okay.
And if I square one side, I have to.
Where's the other?
That's right.
And after that,
So now what can I bring down on my left
you gonna bring
side?
down that H and that -12.
And then on my right side?
Then you're gonna bring down that 16. Then after that, you gonna have to put that +12.
To get the H by itself?
Yeah, then you
Because
gonna-
it's what type of equation at this point?
So that's a regular one. It's simple.
A simple one. A one step.
Down the
So
left
then
side,
H is going to
the left
equal,
side, you're gonna put the H. Then after that, you're gonna be 28.
and then last thing,
Then you're gonna box your ass. Then you're done.
and then I'm going to hit stop.
Go ahead.
Ooh.